Hey guys, welcome to the SF Headbangers Virtual Happy Hour. Cheers, everyone.
Chin chin.
Cheers.
Welcome, you guys. We have Chef Matz from High on Fire.
Greetings.
And we have Will Carroll.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Jeff, welcome again. So Jeff and High on Fire are also the winners of the Best Metal Performance Grammy for Electric Messiah, and congratulations again.
2018, yeah, I know. Thank you. That was a very strange turn of events. We were not expecting that.
Yeah, so all the nominees were from 2018, but the actual ceremony was in early 2019.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so tell us how it all transpired and how you found out that you were nominated.
I woke up to a series of text messages, and initially I thought somebody was messing with me. Yeah, I woke up and I looked at my phone and it was like, "Hey, congrats on the Grammy nom." I'm like, what the hell? What are you talking about, man? We had no clue. It was completely unexpected.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Contacting the band, and what transpired shortly after the nominations were kind of announced, and especially after you won, did anything change, would you say?
I mean, it really hasn't changed that much for us, I mean, I don't know. It was kind of a whirlwind, the whole thing, the nomination, and then, the attending the ceremony and the win. It was really surreal, I hadn't even really considered that it was a possibility for a band like us to be nominated for a Grammy, much less actually win one. I always sort of thought of, High on Fire as like, oh yeah, it's, scuzzy underground metal band, it's like they don't.
At least you didn't lose out to Jethro Tull.
There's that.
What would you say would be the highlight of that whole experience for you?
Gee, I don't know. It's hard to say, really. It was just so strange. The whole thing was so strange. But obviously we're very honored. Very, it was amazing that it actually happened.
Post Malone with Chili.
Oh, probably Post Malone and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. That was probably the highlight for us. Getting to bear witness to that. It was surreal, that was something unlike anything I'd ever experienced. Just that level of pageantry, and it was wild. Completely different world than what we're used to. Yeah, very different. Yeah. Oh yeah, seeing Dolly Parton was cool. Yeah, that was nice.
So 2019, I mean, that was a pretty big year for you guys. And was it in the fall that you went on tour with Power Trip as one of your supporting bands?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was the last tour that we did, actually. That was the last time we were on tour. Yeah, it was a great tour. It was amazing selection of bands. The shows were awesome. Played some really great shows. Yeah. It was really cool touring with Power Trip. They were, awesome guys, awesome band. All the bands were great. But yeah, that was a cool run.
So of course, I'm going to ask you about Riley. Did you end up being pretty close with him personally, or?
I'd never met Riley before we went on tour with him, but pretty much immediately, like we hit it off. He's a really sweet guy, and just super down to earth, super real dude. all of those guys really, you know, I love that whole band is just like super solid dudes. But yeah, Riley was a real sweetheart, you know, like zero ego, just super relaxed, laid back dude. It's lots of fun to talk to and hang out with. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I know it's there was an article today that I just read, you know, talking about the band and how they kind of just feel kind of weird, you know, right now. Of course, still reeling from his death, and now with the basically the eve of the Grammys, and with Power Trip being nominated this year in the Best Metal Performance category, you know, I think they're still out of sorts and still grieving the loss. So
Yeah.
really, really sad. So I'm thinking that they will probably get it. I mean, it's a very strong tracks. Great performance. Actually, I've been listening to that album, that live album from I think 2018 from Seattle. Really strong performance. So,
Ripping live band. One of the best live bands I've seen in many years. Really great. Such energy. Super tight. Yeah. Great songs. Yeah.
So oh, we have Jay Goodwin on too. So hey Jay.
Hey.
So tell us what's going on with High on Fire. What are you guys working on your new album, or I know?
Yeah, I actually just came from our rehearsal space. We were just working on new material now. Our new drummer's in town, and he lives in Louisville, Kentucky, so he flew out.
Wow. I'm in Louisville.
Oh, you're in Louisville?
Yeah.
Oh, right on. Do you know Chris Maggio?
That name sounds real familiar. I'm about to look him up like immediately.
Yeah, great drummer. Great drummer.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. You never know.
Small world,
Yeah.
man.
Very small world.
No doubt.
Yeah, I bet. I'm sure if anything, he probably knows like all my friends, and we probably have a lot of mutual friends in the city. One of my best friends is like one of the biggest promoters that does like metal shows in the city. His name is Terry Harper, and I think he's worked with High on Fire before, and maybe some others. So who knows? But yeah, we actually have a band together. Also.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What's the band called?
It's called the Queenie Brothers. We're not metal. I'm actually the guy that brings the most metal influence. Terry's a hardcore kind of guy and other stuff, and the rest of the guys are kind of into like indie rock. So we bring a lot of influences like soul and indie rock, metal. It's a little bit of everything.
Awesome. I'd love to check it out.
Yeah, for sure. I'll post something like maybe when this interview is posted or whatever. I might post a link to the EP. We were gonna try a tour when we put it out a few years ago, but like right when the album dropped, Terry's mom died, and then the two brothers that are in the band, their father died. It's tragic, yeah. But you know, we're still like slowly but surely working on stuff. But yeah. Anyway, that was a sidebar.
So you said, how long has he been in the band, Jeff? And how did you find him?
Actually, the tour that we did, the last tour we did with Power Trip, that was the first tour that he'd done with us. Yeah, so you know, the original drummer, Des Kensel, he left the band shortly after we won the Grammy, and you know, that kind of put us in a position of like, okay, well, you know, how do we find a guy to, you know, fill Dez's shoes? You know, he's a tremendous drummer. So, you know,
You know, Des told me many years ago that his goal was to quit High on Fire once you guys won a Grammy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
That's hilarious. Wow. Nice.
He saw it coming. No, I was kidding.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Desi knew. Yeah, so we had another fellow, our friend, a friend of ours that lives here in the Portland area, Nick Parks. playing with us for a little bit. Yeah, so Chris Maggio is somebody that had been on our radar for a while. He used to play drums in a band called Coliseum that had toured with High on Fire. And back then he was a monstrous drummer. We were all just kind of in awe of his playing. So he actually contacted us. He was like, "Hey, you guys have a permanent drummer yet? I'd love to come out and try out for you guys." So we had him fly out, and he nailed it, just like right out of the gate.
Wow.
Like he had it so together. So yeah, we jammed with him a few times and did that tour with him, and it was a great fit. He did a fantastic job. Really high energy, super amazing musician.
Nice.
Yeah, his ability is it's astounding. But yeah, that was kind of the trial. It's like, yeah, let's do this tour together and see how it goes. It went great, and then COVID happened. That's sort of,
What's that?
What's that?
Right, exactly. It's the devil, Satan himself.
So Jeff, has there been a lot of material written already, or are you?
Yeah. We've been kind of sporadically writing over the last year. It's been really weird, doing kind of long distance / social distance writing sessions. A lot of trading files, but we're a band that really the material really comes about when we get in a room together. So it's been a little on the slow side, but it's coming along. It's coming along. But yeah, we've got it at this point, a lot of raw material generated. Now we're kind of at the stage of okay, we've got all this stuff, sort of putting things together, getting arrangements. But we're really excited about the material that we have so far.
And do you feel that COVID has changed your style in writing with the isolation and forcibly being away from family and friends and loved ones?
It's I don't know. I mean, there's so many different factors. You know what I mean? Obviously it's our first album too, without Dez. So having a different drummer in the mix has definitely changed the chemistry and the dynamic. It's and yeah, I mean, just the events of the last year, it's been very strange. So, plenty of inspiration for writing riffs. I think we've got all got a lot of pent up energy. So, but yeah, it's it's coming together.
Awesome. Have you been doing anything aside from, you were talking about learning a different instrument? Do you want to just talk about that a little bit, because it was in the beginning, I think.
Yeah.
Talk a bit about that.
For sure. Yeah. So, I mean, once it became apparent that there was going to be no touring happening anytime soon, I kind of just put out a little blurb on my social media, hey, I'm available to teach online bass lessons if anybody's interested. And I had a pretty good response to that. That's kind of been a constant thing, for about the last year now. So I've been doing a lot of that. I really enjoy, teaching bass. It's something I never really considered doing before, but it's that's been really cool. It keeps me on my toes and learning and new things. But yeah, then I also have been diving really deeply into Turkish folk music, which is something that I'm interested in for a number of years, but never really taken that seriously. I've kind of injected that sort of influence into a lot of the High on Fire stuff that I've we've done since I've been in the band. But I wanted to get really well versed in truly the traditional style and learn the traditional instrument, which is the balama. It's like a 7-string lute. So I've been taking lessons from. I've got like 4 different teachers in Turkey that I take online lessons from. So I've been doing that like 3-4 times a week, really just diving head first, and that's been it's been really cool. It's definitely been a big influence on the music that I've been coming up with for the band. You know, trying to inject some of those traditional rhythms and you know, melodies into what we're doing. I think it's like I don't know. The two kind of go hand in hand really well, like heavy music and traditional Middle Eastern music.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Very cool.
yeah.
So your teachers are in Turkey, so you probably do a Zoom or something like that?
So yeah, it's all over Zoom. Yeah.
Very cool.
So what? You're getting a lesson like at 3 a.m.?
Yeah, the timing's a little bit challenging. Like I had one today at 8 a.m., which is
Brutal.
early by my standards.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jeff, for your update. I know you're a little bit tight on your schedule, but thank you for taking the time to tell us what's been going on with you guys.
Yeah, very welcome. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Of course. Well, Carroll.
Yes,
What's
I'm here.
going on besides your disc golf thing? Tell us how you got into that or back into it.
Back into disc golf.
Yeah.
Yeah, just not being able to tour like Jeff was saying. You have a lot of free time on your hands, and instead of just sitting around waiting for tours to recommence and shows to start happening, I have to find other things to do. There's life beyond music. And I just started playing with some friends, and I'm way into it. I play a couple times a week, and it's just really fun. I'm a total nerd about it now. I have all different kinds of discs, and I used to make fun of those people walking around with the backpacks with 50 different discs and shit. Now I'm one of them now, so
I love it.
it's a lot of fun. I bring my speakers to the park. I'm blasting Immolation or whatever and pissing the place.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing outside of music mostly. And musically, Death Angels, working on new material, and we're actually giving our rehearsal space a much needed makeover. So right now, we're getting new soundproofing put in and whole new sound system and mics for the drums and everything. So that's happening right now. So we'll start our practice probably next week. And aside from Death Angel, I have a band called Scarecrow with Matt Harvey from Exhumed and Damian System from Death Angel. And we were actually around in the 2000s and broke up. While Death Angel kind of picked apart Scarecrow, they got me and Damian out of the band. So, but we're back together, and we just signed a deal. I can't say with who yet because they haven't made it, but the announcement should be coming soon. And we have an EP coming out on cassette, digital download, and I believe 12-inch as well. And then later in the year, we're going to record a full length, and hopefully Death Angel will be recording an album, by the end of the year. So I'm staying busy.
Good. Oh, what about, tell us about your project with ACDZ.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing that's happening. Yeah, you know more than me. I'm in an AC/DC tribute band with Zetro from Exodus, and it's called ACDZ. And we have a live stream happening April 3rd. And I should know the website. It's ActonTickets.com. ACDZ. I think it's just /ACDZ. But it's April 3rd. It's $10, and we just do all Bon Scott era ACDC stuff and a lot of deep cuts and a lot of rare tracks. So it's fun, man. I love doing it. And also another thing, my better half just reminded me, another old band of mine, old Grandad, is reissuing our first two albums on vinyl. And that's pretty exciting because we've never put anything out on vinyl, which is kind of crazy. You'd think the type of band that we were, we'd have tons of all of our releases on vinyl, but none of them ever came out on record. So I'm excited about that, and that should be coming out in the next couple of months. And I think that's it.
Okay. So who else besides you and Zed are in that band?
In AC/DC, it's Joel Proto from Vane. He's doing the Malcolm Young parts. The bassist is Mike Butler, who used to be in Exodus in the early 90s. He's on the Force of Habit album. And our Angus is a guy named Dave Chapman, who pretty much does Angus for a living. He's in multiple AC/DC tribute bands, and bands from other states fly him out to fill in, and he's really good at it. And he can definitely make a full-time living. Or he was making a living at it before COVID hit. He was playing shows all the time, you know. But he's fantastic. He's a great Angus and a lot of fun to be in a band with. A bit mouthy. I want to slap him sometimes, but he's a great guitarist.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So we were talking about the Recording Academy, and did you vote in the Grammys this year?
I did vote for the Grammys this year. Yeah, I'm a part of the Academy.
Okay. Okay. So,
I said the Academy.
yeah, and that's why I invited me. I know
We're part of that too.
The Academy Awards, no.
So I was just kind of doing a search to see what the process is, and it said something like everyone. So I'm a little bit confused as the process of the top 5 in each category. So it says it gets nominated by the Academy, but is there a whole list? It's like, here are all the releases from this past year, and you guys pick, or what's the deal on that? Like, just to get down to the top 5.
I may be able to explain this a little bit. So every year, I would say in September or so I would say that releases happen. Let's just say for this year, for example, all the releases from September of 2019 to August 2020 would be the ones that are eligible for the Grammys for 2021, and that's how it goes every year. So in September, you get to basically nominate people from the Academy nominate their recordings for what we call the first round ballot. And I promise, like looking up those things and trying to vote on those things, there's like hundreds of recordings a lot of times in each category. Some categories is a lot less. But anyway, you filter through all those by votes, and usually the top 5 make it to the final ballots, and that's pretty much what gets announced after Thanksgiving, and pretty much what we see, and that's what you call an actual, like the people that make it to those that final round are what you call Grammy nominated artists. Okay. And then around Christmas, those are voted on like right before Christmas or something like that. Sometimes like between Christmas and early January or whatever. Those are voted on, and the top person in each of those categories that gets voted on becomes the Grammy winner. And of course, we're going to see in this category and others who actually is the winner on this weekend.
It's funny, single band I voted for in the metal category didn't make it to the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
The way you just described that process blew my mind. I had never heard that, bro. Thank you.
Will, who was your band that you voted for?
I can't tell.
I don't know if I'm at liberty to say, like, who did I vote for the final 5, or who did I vote for?
No, the first round for the first.
Like King Diamond and Testament. Those are the first 2 that jumped to mind. By the way, yeah, I definitely wanted to see my Bay Area buddies, make it to the top 5, and it's too bad they didn't get picked. But it's horrible timing for their new album. I mean, their album COVID hit, so I was rooting for Testament all the way.
Yeah, the Testament album is awesome.
It's great, totally awesome.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know if it. So, how high tech or low tech is this ballot? Is it like you fill it in and you pop it in the mail, or? what does the actual ballot look like? I mean, is it a hard ballot or can you do it?
It was all digital.
Carry your
Yeah,
pigeon.
it used to be hard. I think last year was the first year that it was all digital. Before then, they actually mailed the ballot to you. And I think the first round for the last few years, they've done it digital. But I know definitely as of last year, everything is digital. So
Okay. Okay, I was wondering. And also I had a question, I was curious. You know, around election time, you get here, like, not for the Grammys, but you get all kinds of flyers and door hangers. It's like, vote for my candidate. Do you guys get that from record companies? Do you get?
yeah, let me find. I'm gonna see. I have something possibly in front of me. I'm gonna get that real quick.
Wait, you talking about like briberies, huh? Like autographs? Or...
Exactly. Okay, so this right here, this is something that came out. What's funny is this came out late this year. I had already voted by the time before I even got this, but especially this is like for the final round of ballots, and it's like a bunch of pages of everybody in here. I'm trying to think if there's a page for the people that were voted for metal. I see like Frozen in here, Chica, who was an awesome artist, and just a bunch of others basically. Thundercat. Now for the first round, I would say for anybody even on the chat that's in like any of the Facebook groups or any other groups that are what you call FYC groups, which just means for your consideration. Especially, I would say towards the summer, like right when people are starting to submit their recordings for Grammy consideration, there are groups where people promote their music, and I promise. And there's also there's literally companies now that this is like all they do is send out promos for everybody that may be potential Grammy nominees. Like I have like a million emails, I swear, that are just from different artists in all kind of genres, just wanting you to listen to their music and the music that they're promoting for consideration. So that all comes out and that continues, and especially like I said, about around the time of the first round ballot, it gets real crazy. And then, of course, when you get to the second round ballot, it's a lot less crazy. But then, like I said, they start sending out things like this, and like I said, it's a pretty big magazine that Billboard puts out. And like I said, it just has a bunch of artists and a lot of ads. I'm really afraid of how much each artist spend on the little articles that go in here. Let's just throw that away. Okay.
Okay, yeah, no, thanks for showing us that. That's interesting. Also, I'm not like any expert of Grammys, but I know, talking to Will last time, I think the best metal performance is not presented live and they don't show it on TV, right? So
such a bummer.
What was that like, Will? Was it before? Was it that morning or something, just earlier? Is that how they did that?
Yes.
Yeah. That ceremony was held like hours before the actual televised event, and it's even in a smaller building. It's not even in the same building where the real Grammys are happening. So it was like around 11 a.m. or noon, and it was about 50 categories maybe that didn't make it onto the TV presentation, and metal was one of them. Yeah, and it was still fun. It was still great.
Yeah.
And, Gwen Stefani was sitting right behind me. That was kind of interesting. But I have to say my favorite part of that whole Grammy experience was going to Bang Tango the night before at the whiskey and having a great time.
Nice.
And I was really hungover at the Grammys, and I slept through most of it, unfortunately. So, and my better half had to wake me up like 10 minutes before they were going to present the winner for best metal category. I was like, whoa. But it was fun. It was once in a lifetime, maybe twice in a lifetime, who knows? But it was great. The pre-parties, after parties were fun, and it was a very surreal experience and positive trip for sure. And I knew we weren't going to win. I mean, we were going up against Tool, so good luck with that. Good luck.
Yeah.
With that. But it was still fun, and unfortunately, COVID hit shortly after, so we weren't able to see the effects if that was going to increase ticket sales or merch sales or whatever. If we got a bunch of new fans because of it, because right after the Grammys, we went to Europe for the Bass Strikes Back tour but Europe doesn't care about the Grammys. So get a chance to tour the States again and see if that made a difference. Maybe
Right.
next year.
Yeah. So we were talking earlier about predictions for this year, and of course with Riley passing. I mean, and it's a strong track, not just because he passed. I'm thinking that Power Trip will probably win, but there's other strong, nominees like the Body Count, and Ice-T and Riley were working closely together, and oh gosh, I played it on an earlier show. I'm trying to think of the song that they did together, but and he's really close friends with him. So he said, yeah, we're flattered to be nominated, but Riley and those guys deserve it. And I would be, he's my guy, and I would be stoked that if they win, posthumously. So any predictions from you guys?
Yeah, I think Power Trip's gonna win. It's I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give away who I voted for. But I predict it's either going to be Power Trip or Body Count. It's one of the two.
Jay, any thoughts?
What was that?
Any thoughts of Jay? Any predictions from Jay?
I don't have any. I know who I voted for, just in all the rock categories and stuff. But Body Count is a strong one, and I think that I will say that I'm not gonna say they're gonna win, but I definitely thought about them just because they have had such a strong comeback, for sure. I'm not saying that I voted for them or anything, but I know they've had such a strong comeback, and I'm kind of proud of what they've been doing, for sure. But I mean, everybody in the category this year, I love. What's crazy is Tool is out of the bands that have been nominated. Tool is the band I listen to by far the least. I hardly listen to Tool, but I listen to everybody else that's been nominated a lot.
Yeah, Poppy's nominated. Her album's really cool.
I gotta be honest. I don't know the first thing about Poppy. I don't even know what it is.
Oh my god!
Check it out. There was a lot of controversy. It's now she's doing something different. So it's I don't say mashup, but you could tell there's a mix of influences from different genres, but it works.
Yeah.
Now, March, who introduced you to them?
Pardon?
Who introduced you to them?
To Poppy?
Yeah, to Poppy.
No, I just kept hearing about Poppy.
You came across him? Okay. Because my own kid was like, "Oh, Dad." Oh, no.
Wait, so is it
Hey,
metal?
Jeremy, by the way, on behalf of society, thank you.
Is it metal, or what kind of music is it? What's Poppy?
Don't even get me started on Poppy.
Well, Jimmy
Jimmy.
knows everything,
I'm here for a minute.
What up,
I got
Jimmy?
Another interview I've got to do in a while, but yeah, Poppy, dude. Don't even. I love her stuff. It's close to baby metal.
Okay.
As far as but it's kind of got a Beatles kind of thing going, as well as really heavy metal guitar playing stuff, and I think it's brilliant.
You lost me.
Check it out. On your recommendation,
You should probably check out Scary Mask first, and then if you like it, go forward from there.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, it works. I was kind of a little bit skeptical, but then I was kind of digging on it. It was first time it's weird, and then you listen to it again, and you're like, this, I could listen to this. This is good. So yeah, that's one of those ones polarizing Poppy. It's ooh, yuck. Or like Jimmy said, hey, yeah, this works for me. So yeah, check it out. It's hard to describe, but it's a mix of all different kinds of genres. Jimmy, how are you? I know you have to drop for Bob has some podcast or something in a few minutes. So
Ooh. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I get to talk to Dean Zaleski, who's this guy has booked Led Zeppelin. I mean, he's I heard about him before I was even a talent buyer. This guy is a mega talent buyer. So I get to sit in and kind of listen to his stories tonight. I'm pretty stoked about it. as soon as it's done, it usually takes 2 days for them to come up with the link, and I'll post it on my page.
Okay,
Awesome.
thanks, bro.
But it
sounds
the
hella
cast
interesting.
Who did the Bay Area Godfathers DVDs? The same guys are involved in that.
Oh,
Alright,
Ace?
sweet.
Are you talking about Ace? And Danny?
No, it did Bob.
Bob Nalbedin
The
and
the Skull Sessions, I believe it's
Skull
called.
Sessions. That's what it's called.
Cool.
What have you been up to?
Oh wow. You know what? I wish I could like disclose the information about who I've been working with lately. I just finished a bunch of recordings for a couple of very, very well-known jazz musicians. Project will be out in April. Then I'm going to spam everybody. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, nice.
Hey, for real, but some really, like I said, just some really cool jazz people, and that's been cool. I played some keyboards in a couple of metal albums. Imagine that. One of them is a doom metal band called Crown in Sorrow. That band's album came out recently. Also a band called Monotheist. It's kind of progressive death metal stuff, and I contributed like some keyboards to their album. And slowly but surely, I have a couple more albums to finish because I'm just doing a lot of session work right now, which is, just what the quarantine has found me doing since I can't go out and do live work. But like I have like a lot of session work, which is beautiful. So yeah, just working with as many people as possible. Towards the summer, I will be working on an album that is, I'll just say it's a bridge between like the 1800s spirituals, black spirituals, and like death metal of the 1990s. It's a big,
Wow.
it's a serious undertaking. It's going to be a little expensive. I just hope that it pays off. Not that I'm like looking for money, not like that, but I mean, I'm just hoping that it comes out to be a really dope piece of work. So I'll be starting on it towards the summer. I've done a lot of arrangements already. It's like a couple of years in on arrangements. So I've recruited some people for choirs, all kind of crazy stuff. So how to make all this happen? I know you were saying earlier, like, how are things happening with COVID? Like, I don't know. And I would say that's probably the biggest thing that's holding me back from like just going full throttle with it, especially when I'm involving so many people. So like I said, in the meantime, I'm really I'm cool with doing session work because it's epic stuff happening. So that's cool.
Awesome. So how is it in Louisville as far as I know that you do church services and instruments and
Yes,
are you guys
still doing it. Okay, so the church that I'm at, we're actually still doing like a 10-person team.
I'm sorry. Wait, I'm sorry. What did you say? A 10 what?
A 10-person team of people that's doing everything, like a preacher, me, of course, as one of the musicians, and we have another keyboard player. It's like really a drummer, 2 keyboard players. We also sing. So
like Gary Newman.
Oh, yeah?
The drummer and 2 keyboard players. That's Gary Newman.
Yeah, it was. I'm playing like a lot of key bass too. So I'm playing keys and key bass at the same time for these services, and then we have like we play with drum programming also. So with the drummer and programming, so it sounds actually pretty full. I'm looking forward to having more musicians join us, but I will say that because I can't do a lot of live shows, it's also been a way to help to keep from working at Walmart. I'm really thankful. I know that like it's probably the most non-metal thing to do to play at a church or whatever. But I mean it's really cool.
But you're still expressing yourself musically, so
Yeah, I was gonna
at the
say.
same time, it's still like food for the soul. So it doesn't matter what you're doing, bro. As long as you're doing it and you're happy, I'll drink to that shit.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. Yeah, I know. I almost feel like we all need to have some drinks at this point.
Hey Jay, if people want to keep up with what you're doing, where should they look?
Okay, you know what? I would say right now, the biggest thing is Instagram. My I just started my Instagram page back up. Jazz Soul Metal, and that's
you.
I mean, I guess what I've said so far kind of shows that that's exactly what I'm doing. Jazz Soul Metal, and that's pretty much everything. I would say Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can look up Jazz Soul Metal and all those. Or March, she actually put my Facebook profile on the original link where she was promoting this. So you all can reach me there also. Yeah.
Cool. I'll send you a request. I'm enjoying what you're doing, man.
Oh man, that's awesome. I appreciate it. Like I really look up to all you. I definitely grew up listening to Death Angel, especially, and then I remember High on Fire was on a tour with, I think it was Megadeth. Don't quote me. Was it Megadeth? I don't know. It was somebody, but I remember they came to Louisville like years ago, and I remember checking them out. And like I said, just a lot of other things. Like metal is like, even though I do this other stuff, jazz and stuff, metal is my first one, for sure.
Yeah,
And
I'm pretty sure Fire played on a Gigantor.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And and it was at I'm trying to think of which it was a big, it was almost a stadium somewhere, one of the stadiums in Louisville. Can't remember which one, but it was a while back. Gigantor though. I was there.
Cool.
Yeah, but yeah, so I mean, it's really cool, I guess, doing what I do, only because not just being a metal guy, not just being a jazz guy. I've really been able to work with a lot of people of different genres. I wouldn't have it any other way, for real.
Awesome. So your 10-person, the church, your setup, do people come to see you live, or is it like on Zoom and people could just tune in to check out the service and the...
Yeah, so right now we have, so we stream live, and the services can be found on our website. It's let me see, fbcjtown.org is the website, and every Sunday we stream. But also, they can be, the services can be found on YouTube and and Facebook, especially the website and YouTube. Like after the service is over, everything can be found on YouTube. So yeah.
I'll get that information from you, Jay, so I can post it.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you what, this is funny. I do direct choirs, and one of my favorite things to do, like I've been playing for years, but my favorite thing to do actually is vocal arrangements. I mean, like, I'm a big fan of Take Six. I'm a big fan of Devin Townsend. I'm a big fan of, like, just a lot of people that do big vocal arrangements. I've been in choirs and I direct choirs. The first time I directed a choir at that particular church, I was wearing a corpse shirt. It was just so, and I definitely kind of told them, like, I'm definitely a kind of metal guy. I know I'm kind of known in the city for gospel. I'm a metal guy, and that's pretty much what I do. Wear jeans and t-shirts all the time. So I was like, if I have a problem with that.
That's funny that you did that. I was a pastor at a church for metalheads in the 80s for 2 years.
Where was that at?
In the Bay Area. It was called Sanctuary. Yeah. Bob Beeman ordained me and this other cat, and we ran the church for 2 years. So the kids, like, it was like basically come as you are. So there were people wearing King Diamond shirts. There was no judgment in that building. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was like, whatever, do your thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that I'm familiar. I've talked to Bob Beeman a few times. I met him at Cornerstone, and we hung out a few times. But my whole thing was always this: like, I always felt like if churches like turned me away because or even from working there, like just because I wore metal shirts all the time, then how much more would they do to people that need to hear positive message or need to hear or need any kind of assistance or anything. Like I just felt like they turned me away. It's not even like out do anything crazy. Like then why turn away people that actually need help or cares or whatever. So yeah, I never want to be part of any organization that would turn people away just because of what they were wearing or what they were listening to.
Right. Yeah, it's a weird. that's a tricky world to be in. It's like I recently, I dove headfirst back into a really big church here in San Jose again, like a few years ago, and then I started. I'm not talking crap, but I started volunteering graphic design services for them on weekdays.
Okay.
And then I started to figure out what the office staff were like and went, okay, this is not a church environment, and stopped going again. So now I stopped going to church altogether again. Yeah.
I understand. I mean, I've definitely dealt with a lot of opposition. I would say that the current church is like, you know, most of the churches I've gone to, like a lot of them, I've always been the outcast type of person. I think, like I said, if it weren't for the current situation, just being like, okay, we're cool with you as you are, then I probably would be out of church too. You know, but thankfully, like I said, they've been able to be accommodating. And, you know, before the shutdown, there were like a lot of my friends, you know, that I would meet for other shows or whatever. I would actually hire guitarists that like just from metal bands around the city to come and play, you know, guitar or other instruments. You know, not saying you got to join a church band, but like, yo, I might need a guitar solo on a song or something. You know, can you come and I'll actually pay you to do it. You know, just help to, you know, take away maybe some of the stigma that people have against each other, you know, because like, you know, metalheads, they may have a certain idea of what church should be, and church may have a certain idea of what metal is. And, you know, me existing in both worlds is like, you know, or even jazz or whatever. And it's like, you know, it doesn't have to be that way if you don't want it to be.
Well, I'm sorry, guys. I know you're probably going, oh my God, they're talking about church. But just one thing I want to say real quick.
No, I'm actually totally into this.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
but
my mom was a nun, so I'm good.
I was born and raised
You can
Mormon,
talk
so
about church all you want.
Oh, wow.
Dude.
it's like you guys talk about church. I'm like, yeah, I married a Catholic. I was like, I'm already going to hell.
Oh, wow, that's what's up, man.
It blows my mind because, you know, there's the last church I went to had a smoking hot band.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing that church guitar players never seem to get right is when they decide to go heavy.
Yes.
This oversaturated chorus.
Yes.
Like shitty gym.
Exactly.
Oh, well,
and that's why I started recruiting people from local bands, and you know, to come to church and do stuff, just because I wanted that sound. You know,
that's what I figured, because it's like, hey, we need you to step off the bench and come on in here, pinch hit, because our guitar player can't handle it.
For sure. Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. Like, and of course, I guess you can imagine. I've definitely seen a lot. Just you know, just in both of those. I think about like my parents, or even other people. They're just like my dad. You know, my mom still hasn't seen me do a death metal show, but I know my dad did a couple of times, and I'm proud of him for it. You know, but they're definitely like, you know, very religious, very into God, so to speak. And just seeing them, and then some of the other people from church that have come to metal shows. It was not just me bringing, you know, church, you know, metal people to church. Is like me bringing church people to the metal shows too. I took the other guy that plays keyboards with me. I've brought him out to a couple of metal shows just to you know, to show him the kind of things I appreciate, and he actually enjoyed it. You know, I think we went to see Periphery.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man. So that was
that band.
Oh man, they're amazing, man, for sure.
Hey, you mentioned Devin Townsend, Jay. Have you listened to all his new stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. I'll tell you, as a producer, you know, like I said, I look at vocal arrangements and production, and anything he's done, like even the stuff he's doing lately, I like his diversity. You know, I like the fact that like one minute he'll have like a 200 voice choir, and then sometimes it may just be him. You know, I think about the stuff he's been doing with, you know, he used to do a Strapping Young Lad, saying he wanted to put that stuff back in the set. But yeah, I think that like I said, anything Devin Townsend does, I think it's usually sonic perfection to me.
He's pretty much like the heavy music Zappa, in my opinion.
Yeah, there you go.
What I mean?
Yeah.
He's so good. I love all this new stuff that he's doing. He's, trying all different stuff, and it works. And it's just amazing stuff. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
I was looking to see Sylvia Roberts' guest. I just saw something at the bottom of the screen. It's looking like okay.
Oh,
Yes. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, question for Will.
Well, I'm right here.
Hey, Will's been doing it now that we're out of the purple zone, red zone. We can have some bars and stuff and restaurants open. So how's your? Sorry, I haven't been down lately because now it's a little bit cold. So I haven't been to your heavy metal DJ night at the Willows, but I'll probably go after the time change. How's that been going for you?
It's picked up a lot in the past couple of weeks, especially last night, Thursday night. So last night was the most people ever. So it's just
Wow.
And it's a lot of fun, the only place in town to listen to metal in a public place, right now at least. So people are catching on, and it's just fun. I love blasting metal really loud. A lot of fun.
Awesome.
Once I get my first shot, I'm there, bro.
I actually just got preached to about not showing up to the last one by a friend of mine, so I guess I'm going to have to make it out pretty soon.
Yeah,
I'm coming through soon too. It's going down.
We'll carpool, Jimmy.
Nice. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'll pick y'all up.
The car will drive us.
Yeah, and Tim.
I'll roll some joints. It'll be all good.
Yeah.
Fun. See, I'm coming with y'all. Forget this, man. I'm coming ASAP.
It's too bad that Jeff's not here with us anymore, because I wanted to tell a funny story with my connection with High on Fire. A couple years ago, they were about to go on a tour with Abbott from Immortal. They did a U.S. tour, or a North American tour. And before the tour started, they knew that their drummer, Dez, was going to have to fly home for a couple of days and miss Vancouver. So they asked me to fill in for him for that one show. So I rehearsed with them once in Oakland, and then they left for tour like 2 days later. And then like 6 weeks later, I fly up to Seattle to watch the last show Dez was doing before he flew home, so I could get a feel for the flow of the set and everything. And then Dez flew home after the show, and I drove with him up to Vancouver and played the one gig with them. And it was one of the funnest shows I've ever played in my life. I love Fire, and I love Dez's drumming. Their new drummer is going to be hard pressed. Those are big shoes to fill. I'm not saying he can't do it. I don't know much about their new drummer, but I love Dez's drumming, and great guy. And so it was a total honor to fill in for just one gig, Just playing some of those songs is pure power. It was a lot of fun.
That's cool. When was that? What year was that, Will?
I think 2017, maybe. They were touring for the album Luminescence, one for Electric Messiah.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I have a radio show every Monday on Gimme Metal, and Gimme Metal is a free heavy metal radio station. You just download it to your phone or computer or whatever. It's 24 hours, and each show is 2 hours long. Dave Mustaine has a show. Randy Life has a show. I have a show. Rock Boss. A lot of different personalities and a lot of different styles. Like my show always has themes. Like next Monday's episode, every song is about eating. And you'd be surprised how many heavy metal songs are out there with eating in the title.
That's awesome.
So I have a lot of fun with my show. There's a lot of humor in it. The show is called The Full Metal Jacket, FOOL, The Full Metal Jacket. And it's on every Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that's been keeping me sane for the past year, actually. Being able to communicate with people through that. When the show airs, there's a live chat going on, so I talk to people live throughout the show. So that's definitely a blessing. I'm glad that it didn't go away with COVID. That's still happening, and actually is thriving right now. And they have a video channel now too, so it's going to be like a Headbangers thing. So yeah, great thing. I love it. Totally free, so check it out. It's
Dude, I'm off Mondays. I'm checking that out.
I may take Monday off.
Yeah, we work for the same company, man. I know how you feel.
So Will, it's live, but then it gets archived, right? And then we can listen on demand. Is that?
yeah. They have a library. If you become a Key Brigade member, I think it's like $5 a month or something, and access to every past shows, Dave Mustaine, everyone. I think I'm on like show 230. I have more shows than anybody on Gimme Metal, I believe. But yeah, it's a huge library. You listen to every single one at your disposal. So it's really cool. They have a vinyl club every month. If you join, you get a new vinyl every month. High on Fire was the featured vinyl last month. They reissued their first album, Art of Self Defense, and Possessed Seven Churches was one of the vinyl clubs. I think this month is SOD, Speak English or Die. They've done Death, Scream, Bloody Gore. Yeah, it's awesome. It's really awesome.
So Will, remember you were mentioning the food thing, and I said pizza by Attila. You're talking about that incident that went down, right? That's why you won't play Attila on your show.
I mean, partly that, and we also played a festival in the Philippines with those guys, and just hanging out with them at the hotel, they don't seem like my kind of people. The singer was just a little, he was a little much. So I guess it's my fucking show, so I'm gonna play people I like.
When you mentioned that, I'm like, I wonder, because then I Googled on it and like, was it because of that or something personal? So I just had to bring it up and ask you.
It's a little bit of both. A little bit of both. I mean, he didn't do anything to me personally, but just watching him in action around the pool, the way he was acting, it was like, this guy. And then, all that stuff happened later on. He was accused of all that stuff. But I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm just not a fan of the band. So I'm sure you're all dying to know what band we're talking about, but I'm not going to say.
The pizza song's kind of funny though, but yeah.
Okay.
But what Philippine show? Was this with DA or?
Oh yeah, I mean, you can't be surprised that Death Angel are like the Beatles. But yeah, we've Death Angels played the Philippines. I think they went once before I joined, and then since I've been in the band, we've been at least twice, maybe 3 times. It's a huge festival. It's like tens of thousands of people there. Like I'd say maybe 50,000 people, but it could be more or less. But it's a huge like soccer stadium, and they have the festival every summer. And I can't even remember what the festival is called, unfortunately. But the real kick in the pants about the COVID thing is not me almost dying, but the fact that we were going back to the Philippines last summer to support Iron Maiden, and it got canceled.
Wow! Dang, that's crazy.
It kills me. So I mean, hopefully they'll reschedule that. I mean, I would imagine Iron Maiden's kind of a hard band to wrangle up to go to the Philippines. So it was kind of a amazing thing that they were going to do it. And so, yeah, that kills me. It totally kills me. But the festival was amazing. And it's all kinds of music too. It's not just metal. Actually, metal is like the least represented thing at the festival. But on some previous ones, we played with Anthrax there, and Hell Yeah, and a bunch of just international bands, a lot of Japanese bands, and it's really cool. I wish I could. Oh, it's called Pulp SummerSlam. That's the name of the festival. Pulp SummerSlam. And the one with Iron Maiden last year was going to be the final one. So hopefully they'll reschedule it, man. I'd like to play it one more time. Wow. And like I said, Death Angel gets treated very well in the Philippines, man. It's a hoot, man. It's really fun.
That's really
I was gonna ask Will, how's your Tagalog? Are they teaching you it yet? You know what?
I can speak a little. I know all bad words. Like any true American.
That's what we.
All you know are bad words.
Yeah, man. Yeah, all my Filipino buddies at Wilcox, taught me all the bad Tagalog first. Yep. I got slapped by plenty of grandmas.
I got fired from a job at Target in the early '90s. I worked in the warehouse at Target, and I had two guys working with me, and they were just slacking off, and we were like unloading a truck full of like ocean spray or something really heavy, and they started talking to Tagalog to each other, and they were talking shit about me, and lo and behold, like they didn't know I understood Tagalog, so I ended up throwing a bottle of ocean spray at one of their heads, and no more job for me. But but they were shocked. Man. They were shocked. They called me a bakla, which means
Yeah.
faggot, you know. So they called me that, and I was like, "What the fuck you just called me?" And yeah, they were pretty.
It's funny you say that. I worked retail.
From that one was the most gratifying.
Dude, I worked retail with Filipinos and learned so much from them. Love their culture, and you know, I could always tell when they were talking shit. You
Yep.
get that answer right back.
Yeah, well, I have to go.
Hey, Will, one more quick question.
Sure.
When you guys do your, or did, I guess now that Slim's is gone, Jesus, it's still unbelievable. Dude, totally. When you guys did your encores, you know, you'll pick a Beatles song, a Christmas song. Was it a democratic process on what song to do, or was someone just throwing a name out and everyone else was like, "Shit, that's great, let's do it"? The Christmas and the cover.
No, pretty much. Rob and Mark make the call the shots on what Beatles song to play. And I'm gonna make a confession here. I can't stand the Beatles. I just fucking can't stand them.
Are you a Rolling Stone fan then? So a lot of people are either Stones or the
Stones,
Beatles.
yeah.
So are you Stones?
I'm the Who.
Ah, excellent.
Yeah.
All right, I'm down with
The
that,
wild
bro.
card.
I also dig the Stones. I just can't get into the Beatles. I don't know what it is, man. My
They're so
sister,
funny.
my sister loves them, and you know Mark and Rob love them too. And so that's their call. I wouldn't even know where to start if they asked me what Beatles song I want to play.
Oh wow.
And as far as the Christmas songs, usually Rob comes up with which Christmas song, or Mark. But I know for the next time we do a live in the flesh Christmas show, I'm gonna fight for us doing Spinal Tap's "Christmas with the Devil." I love
Would
that.
be sick. Yes.
I love that song, man. We got to do it. I'm not sure if you are familiar with that song, but I would love.
Actually.
We all have enough grays that we're totally familiar with it.
Now I need to look it up. It sounds kind of familiar, but not like I can't hear it in my brain. So
They performed it on Saturday Night Live. That was the first time I had ever.
Oh wow.
And I remember like some dwarves or some elves, I should say, came on stage with a burning Christmas tree, and it was quite effective. The song like sunk in my head. It's not on any album as far as I know, but it's kind of it's a rare track. But I would love to do it. I would love to do it.
awesome.